Hi everyone, welcome to the Rugby League History channel. Today I'll be doing my tips for round 6 of the 2023 NRL season. Last week I got 5 out of 8 correct. Let's see how many I get right in round 6. And the first match to kick off round 6 is between Melbourne and Sydney Roosters. This one's being played at Amy Park in Melbourne. This match sees, in my personal opinion, the two best teams of the NRL ever play against each other once again. With Melbourne, they've won 5 of their last 6 encounters against the Sydney Roosters. And with Eastern Suburbs, since 2014, they've only managed to win 3 times down in Melbourne, despite having such a good record in the NRL overall. I watched Eastern Suburbs' match against Parramatta last Thursday, and although I thought that at times that they were doing it quite comfortably, they did have a lot of ball and they did have a lot of sets at Parramatta, and I think 2 of their tries come when Parramatta had players in the sin bin, but there was one stage where it took them 6 sets in a row to get a try against Parramatta, and I think they're going to have to be better in attack against Melbourne down there on the Thursday night. And with Melbourne, even though they've had some injuries and they've had players come in and out of the team, they're still getting results. Although they're not the most convincing of results in some weeks, they're still getting results and they're still getting wins on the board. For this match, I'm going to go for Melbourne to win 1-12. I think with the home ground advantage and the fact that they have a very good record down there will get them across the line in the end, but I think this is going to be one of the games of the round in round 6. And the first match on the Friday is the Good Friday match between Canterbury-Bankstown and South Sydney. This one's being played at Stadium Australia. This fixture between the two sides began in 2012. At the moment, South Sydney have 7 wins and Canterbury have 3. And Canterbury's last win in the Good Friday match was 2017. With South Sydney, they come into this match off a loss against Melbourne last week. They looked quite flat in that game. With Canterbury, they won in Golden Point against North Queensland, but for me, Golden Point matches are a lottery. They can go either way, and even though Canterbury won, I don't think it was the most convincing performance in the end. I think this is going to be a very good match. I'm expecting a big crowd there at Stadium Australia on the Friday. Hopefully the weather's good. Probably about maybe 30 or 40,000 will attend this game. South Sydney have a really good record in this Good Friday fixture over Canterbury. And that's why I'm going to tip South Sydney to win this match. I think that they'll bounce back after the disappointment of last week against Melbourne. I think Canterbury will give them a really good game, but in the end, I see South Sydney winning by about 1 or 12 points. And the second match on the Friday is between North Queensland and Redcliffe, or if you want to call them the Dolphins. This one's being played at the Queensland Country Bank Stadium in Townsville. Both of these teams coming into the match having lost their previous game. As for Redcliffe, they've lost the last 2 matches. These two sides have played each other once this year already. However, that were in the NRL trials before the season began. And I think it were a 22-all or a 24-all draw. I think, along with the first 2 matches to kick off the round, this is going to be a really good game, really tight. I think it might be high scoring. I think you'll see a few tries from both sides. But I will back the home side for this. I'll go for North Queensland to win by 8 points. I think that's it. There'll probably be a try in it. Both sides will be desperate to win this game, but I'll go for North Queensland to win just over Redcliffe there on the Friday. And the first match on Super Saturday is between Penrith and Manly-Warringah. This one is being played at Penrith Stadium. Penrith have won their last 6 matches against Manly. And if you want to go even further back, they've won 12 of the last 14 matches against Manly. Manly's last victory over Penrith were on the 30th of June 2018, and that's the last time that they've beaten Penrith in the NRL. I watched the highlights of both matches last week. Penrith back to their best, 53 points they put on Canberra. With Manly, I don't think that they were at their best against Newcastle, but they managed to get a draw. They got something out of the game, which is better than naught in my personal opinion. For this match, I will go for Penrith to win. They are very good at home and they have a good record over Manly recently, and I think that that will continue. So I'll go for Penrith to win 1-12 there on the Saturday. The second match on Super Saturday is between Brisbane and Canberra. This one's being played at Suncorp Stadium. Brisbane have won 7 of the last 10 encounters against Canberra, and the last time that Canberra beat Brisbane at Suncorp Stadium was on the 3rd of September 2010. I watched the highlights of Canberra's match against Penrith, as I mentioned earlier. That second half were awful for them. The floodgates just opened and they conceded so many points in such a short space of time. And with Brisbane, I watched the highlights of their match against the West Tigers, and from start to finish, they were the best team. They were in complete control, and they were never going to lose that game, and they put on a big score against West in the end. For this game, I really see it just going the one way. I'm going to go for Brisbane to win, 13 plus. I think they're going to put a big score on Canberra, actually, especially the way that Canberra played last week. If they do it again, it's going to be another big score against them. And the third match on Super Saturday is between Gold Coast and St George. This one's being played at the Suburbs Super Stadium on the Gold Coast. These two sides have already met once this year, and St George beat the Gold Coast in round 2, 32 points to 18. St George's last win on the Glitter Strip against the Gold Coast was on the 7th of September 2019. For Gold Coast fans, they'll be excited with the signing of Leeds hooker Cruz Lehman, who's signed with the club. He's got a bit of a good reputation over here in England, and they'll be looking forward to seeing him run out in Gold Coast colours in 2023. A lot of people have tipped St George to come last this year, but based off some of the performances that they've put in so far this year, I don't think that they will. They were quite good against Redcliffe last Saturday, and they'll go into this match with a lot of confidence. This is a really hard game to call because with the Gold Coast, they come into the match off the bye. They're going to be fresh, but they're going to be facing a St George side that are coming into the game with a lot of belief after that victory over Redcliffe. I will go for Gold Coast to win though. I think that this will be a high scoring match. If you love your tries, there'll be lots of tries in this game. I'll go for the Gold Coast to win 1-12 there at home on the Saturday. The next game is on Sunday, and it's between Newcastle and New Zealand, and this one's being played at the McDonald Jones. An interesting stat going into this match is that head-to-head, both Newcastle and New Zealand have 23 wins against each other, which is quite rare in the NRL. Of course, these two sides played each other earlier in the year, round 1, over in Wellington, and New Zealand recorded a 20-12 victory. I watched the highlights of the game between Cronulla and New Zealand. New Zealand come back from 26 points to 6 down to win that game by 2 points in the end, 32 points to 30. And even though it's good for them to get that win and come back from that margin, it's not something that I think that the coach or the players want to be facing every week, to be coming back from a position like that. So hopefully those type of things don't repeat themselves for New Zealand in the future. As for Newcastle, I watched the highlights of their match against Manly, and once again, a gutsy performance from them, and as well, a draw's better than out, a point's better than no points at all, so Newcastle will at least take something out from that game. For this match, I will go for the away side. I'll go for New Zealand to win. Most of the time when I tip them, they lose, but hopefully this week, because I tip them, they win. So I'm going to go for New Zealand, the away side, to win 1-12 points there on Easter Sunday. And then we go into the final game of the round, and this one's on Easter Monday, and it's between West Tigers and Parramatta. This one's being played at Stadium Australia, and West Tigers will be the home team for this match. This is a fixture that has been played since 2014, and both sides have 4 wins each. I've been to 2 of the Easter Monday matches, and generally there's a big crowd out there, and it's a good day out. With these Easter Monday matches, as I mentioned, there's been 8 played. 5 of them have been decided by 10 points or less. West come into the match off a heavy loss against Brisbane, and once again the media, social media, fans, YouTubers, everyone's attacking the club and have got their say about what's going on. But cast your minds back to last year in 2022, West Tigers started 0-5. The same things were being said, and then they went into round 6 and they beat Parramatta 21 points to 20 to get their first win of the year, with Jackson Hastings getting the win and drop goal. Another stat coming into this match is West Tigers have not won in the NRL since the 30th of July 2022 when they beat Brisbane up there at Suncorp Stadium. When you look at these two sides on paper and how they've been going this year, Parramatta's had probably the hardest draw out of any team to start the year. They've played 3 of the Premiership favourites to begin the season. They've had to play East off the bye, Penrith off the bye, Manly off the bye. They've lost 3 games by 4 points and another one by 8 points. Now you would think logically that Parramatta would get the job done, but this is a real banana skin game for Parramatta. This is a game where it's almost deja vu last year, same scenario, and they've got to be really careful going in this match because West Tigers are going to be absolutely desperate for a win. And that's why I'm going to go for West Tigers to win this match. I don't know how or why they're going to win, but I just have a feeling that they're going to win. It's almost the same scenario as last year. The media is out there to get them. Fans are attacking them. People are questioning whether they should be in the NRL. Last year they got the result. This year it's a high chance that they can, and I think that they probably will. It's just one of them matches where I think the media's attacked them so much that the players and the club are just going to go, all right, enough, and we're going to go out there and win. And I think that they probably will there on the Easter Monday. So those have been my tips for round 6 of the 2023 NRL season. Let me know in the comment section below who you're tipping, and let me know how many you got last week. I'll be doing my Betfred Super League round 8 tips tomorrow, and then on Wednesday I've got the podcast with Just Rugby League, a view from the north. Thanks to everyone that watched my tipping video last week, making it one of the most watched tipping videos on YouTube. It's much appreciated. So, this has been Rugby League History, and I'll catch us all later in the next video. Alright, taddy bye for now.